Buckle up, folks. We're about to dive into a dating revelation that'll blow your mind. You might think dating in China is a whole different ballgame, but hold on to your hats. Turns out Chinese men are facing eerily similar challenges to the rest of us. From ghosting to unrealistic expectations, it's like a global dating deja vu. We'll unpack these surprising parallels and explore the unique twists in China's dating scene. Ever heard of leftover women? Or the pressure of owning a house before even thinking about marriage? Get ready for some eye-opening insights that'll make you realize when it comes to matters of the heart, we're all in this together. Stay tuned, because this roller coaster of love knows no borders.
Overweight single mom who lives with her parents wants man who makes $5 million a year to marry her under a prenuptial agreement that he doesn't have access to the wealth in a trust that she doesn't know the rules of or how much is in it. Does that summarize it?
Yeah, but I get it. I'm overweight.
That's not the key and point. What I'm looking at is the idea versus the reality of the thing.
I think what he's just trying to say, it's a bit not realistic. I mean, $5 million a year.
And I keep saying that these are my standards right now. It can change when I meet the right man. God doesn't know what he's going to put for me.
Why would God send a man with $5 million to suffer?
What?
I'm sorry, wait, how would he
Suffer?
suffer? How would he suffer?
If we are to assume for a moment that you think, okay, I'm a prize or I'm the prize or whatever, I wonder if women ever internalize this in the prayer of the thing. The thing I want. I want thing, I pray for thing. That you might, right? And if you did, why would God send a man to suffer for you?
All right, let's break this down. She's looking for a man making $5 million a year. That's $400,000 a month. Can you even imagine? But here's the kicker. Even with that kind of cash, you're still not guaranteed to meet her standards. Now picture this. You've been grinding, working out, building your empire. You're not wasting time partying. You're focused on your goals. You've got the Rolls Royce. You're living the dream. And then, boom, you open that car door and in walks someone who's already got a kid and a list of demands longer than your bank statement. Is this really what success looks like? Is this what we're all working towards? Come on, folks. Let's talk about what real value in a relationship means. It's not about the size of your wallet. It's about the size of your character.
A young and pretty lady posted this on a popular forum. What should I do to marry a rich guy? I'm going to be honest of what I'm going to say here. This was in the paper. I'm 25 this year. I'm very pretty, have style and good taste. I wish to marry a guy with $500,000 annual salary or above. You might say that I'm greedy, but an annual salary of $1 million is considered only middle class in New York. My requirement is not high. Is there anyone in this forum who has income of $500,000 annual? Are you all married? I wanted to ask, what should I do to marry a rich person like you? Among those I've dated, the richest is $250,000 annual, and it seems that this is my upper limit. If anyone is going to move into a high-cost residential area on the west of New York City Garden, $250,000 annual income is simply not enough. I'm here humbly to ask a few questions. Where do most rich bachelors hang out? Please list down the names and addresses of bars, restaurants, and gyms. What age group should I target? What are most wives of the rich? Why are most wives of the rich only average looking? I have met a few women who don't have looks and are not interesting, but they are able to marry rich guys. How do you decide who can be your wife and who can only be your girlfriend? My target is to get married. Signed, Miss Pretty. This was actually in a paper in New York, and the CEO of JP Morgan responded, Dear Miss Pretty, I have read your post with great interest. Guess there are lots of girls out there who have similar questions like yours. Please allow me to analyze your situation as a professional investor. My annual income is more than $500,000, which meets your requirements, so I hope everyone believes that I'm not wasting time here. From the standpoint of a business person, it is a bad decision to marry you. The answer is very simple, so let me explain. Put the details aside. What you're trying to do is an exchange of beauty and money. Person A provides beauty, person B pays for it, fair and square. However, there is a deadly problem here. Your beauty will fade. But my money will not be gone without a good reason. The fact is, my income might increase from year to year, but you can't be prettier year after year. Hence, from my viewpoint of economics, I am an appreciating item and you are a depreciating asset. And it's not just normal depreciation, but exponential depreciation. If that is your only asset, your value will be much worse 10 years later. By the terms we use in Wall Street, every trading has a position. Dating with you is also a trading position. If the trade value drops, we will sell it, and it is not a good idea to keep it for long term. Same goes with the marriage you wanted. It might be cruel to say this, but in order to make a wiser decision, any asset with greater depreciation value will be sold or leased. Anyone with over $500,000 annual income is not a fool. We would only date you, but not marry you. I would advise that you forget looking for any clues to marry a rich guy. And by the way, you could make yourself to become a rich person with you could make yourself to become a rich person with $500,000 annual income. This has a better chance than finding a rich fool. Signed, J.P. Morgan, CEO.
This is yet another example of how some women equate their value solely to their beauty. But to a wealthy man who already owns Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and a collection of other supercars, you're just one woman. What do you truly bring to the table? To be honest, your appearance is just the icing on the cake. It's not the whole picture. There's so much more to the story than simply standing there with a smile.
A 35-year-old single woman in China has set such high standards for her future spouse.
My requirements for a partner are simple. They should have a ready-made house with no mortgage, preferably be a native of Shanghai, have experience living abroad, work as a manager in a company, and most importantly, have good temperament. Someone like Daniel Wu would be ideal.
However, at a matchmaking event with thousands of participants, nobody even glances at her. The stark contrast between her ideals and reality leaves her feeling lost.
I'm told I'm the oldest woman here, she says. I don't want to continue anymore.
Wenjie, 35, is a senior executive in a company. Born and raised in Shanghai, she has always had a privileged upbringing, coupled with some good looks, which made her quite popular in her 20s. However, her high standards have prevented her from finding a suitable partner. It's only now that she's starting to feel the true weight of loneliness. So, whenever she has free time, she shuttles between various matchmaking events in Shanghai. But in her eyes, all the prospective partners are subpar. It's her high and rigid standards that have kept her single for so long. Despite realizing her mistake, she refuses to lower her criteria, even in the face of criticism from matchmakers.
What do you have to offer? What makes you so special? What can you give him? Just because you're a woman? Are there not enough women out there? But Wenjie, 35, can't hear any of these words. Seeing Wenjie's attitude, the matchmaker can only helplessly introduce her to a wealthy and handsome man for a blind date. To Wenjie, this man is undoubtedly the ideal marriage partner, but to him, she's worthless.
To be honest, I don't even want to look at her.
Upon hearing the wealthy man's evaluation of her, Wenjie breaks down. She cries like a teenager. But reality is cruel. When you demand high standards from others, you must also examine whether you meet those standards. In China, there are many older single women like Wenjie. They generally focus only on the man's financial status and social standing, while lacking a clear understanding of their own shortcomings. Their standards for choosing a partner are often very demanding, even unrealistic. Next,
in the dating world, successful men often seek something they can't easily get or pay for. Top-tier guys have options and are selective. It's like a game of musical chairs. The music's getting faster and the best seats are taken. Don't wait too long to get in the game, or you might find yourself on the sidelines.
He just started his own business, but he makes $45,000 a year. Would you date him? You wouldn't be able to afford my engagement ring. If you make $45,000 a year, it would take you 4 years? No. 8 years to afford.
Wait, how much? I don't know anything about rings. How much is that?
About $200,000.
Girl, you want a $200,000? Are you insane?
My ring has to sparkle from across the street. Like, you have to see that shit. It's gonna blind people. But like, I'm not a regular girl.
What? Honestly, I don't think they fully grasp what $200,000 really is or how hard it is to earn that kind of money. But imagine a man with $200,000. Just think of all the things he could do, the hobbies he could take up, the places he could travel to around the world. Anything a woman could do for him, he could probably pay someone and get even better results. It's amazing they have these wild expectations without realizing they're bringing almost nothing to the table.
So I have to cancel the singles event that I planned to be on my farm this weekend. Y'all know I'm an event planner and I have a fish farm, and I advertised a Fishing for Love event where singles could come here and fish and have dinner and meet each other in person, not on a dating app. And 5 women RSVP'd yes, and 1 man. And even the 1 man that did RSVP did it through one of the ladies. Now, I did all of my marketing specifically towards men because I knew that the women would RSVP. I promoted the event on 45 different Facebook groups, specifically about hunting, fishing, camping, country life, and all local to my area. I know that my post reached over 12,000 people specific to the age group, the gender, and the interests that I just described. And yet, no man RSVP'd. So let's talk about why men are not RSVPing and attending these singles meet and greets. So I read something that said that men are just more spontaneous, they just want to show up, but I don't think that's true. Because men have no problem buying their season tickets to a football game a year in advance, being on time for their fantasy football event, being at a 7 a.m. golf tee time. So the issue must be that they're just not interested in attending these singles meet and greets. I also read that men don't really like the pressure of meeting a woman in a formal dating experience, and they prefer meeting a woman naturally, like at a bar or a concert. But like, don't we all? Now remember, I chose an event that men love doing, and I get men here every day at my farm fishing. I chose a fishing event because as an event planner, I know that I have to always have something for men to be doing. Men don't enjoy just standing around talking like women do. So that's why I chose fishing as the predominant activity. And yet they still didn't want to come. So I would love to hear from you all as to why you think men don't attend singles events. Because all I hear is them on social media talking about how lonely they are and how they all want to meet a woman and how much they hate the apps. So what do you think?
Ever wonder why a settled guy suddenly gets interested? It's not as simple as you think. Picture this. He's talked to countless women, heard the same lines over and over. Now he's looking at life differently. The dating pool, it's shrinking and he knows it. Those plenty of fish in the sea, they're not sticking around forever. Here's the kicker. As we age, we realize relationships aren't the fairy tales we once imagined. This guy, he's seen it all, through his own eyes or watching his buddies stumble through the same dance. It's a wake-up call, folks. The game changes when you've got some miles on you. So next time you expect men to suddenly rain from the sky, remember it's just a desert they would be pouring onto, and no man's got enough water for that.
I was once at the bottom of society without a house or a car. I remember one winter when I couldn't even afford heating. Back then, I had a girlfriend. I didn't expect her to be very beautiful or have a great figure, nor did I expect her to be like the cute female characters on TV, good at housework, or both a great cook and socially charming. I didn't make much money, and she didn't work, so to survive, we had to live frugally. Maybe you think I was really lucky. She wasn't materialistic, right? Well, let me ask you, do you believe she gave me the silent treatment for 4 years? I put up with it for 4 years, trying my best to please her because I really couldn't make enough money to support the lifestyle she wanted. Now, I'm 36, and it's been many, many years since we broke up. But even now it's hard for me to think about it. It's not because she broke up with me, but because I tried so hard to change and worked tirelessly to make money. And what about her? After treating me coldly, she decided, in her words, that I was a failure who couldn't achieve anything. And then she wanted to break up. She said any man she found would be better than me. And when I begged her not to leave, I'll never forget the look of disgust on her face. After so many years together, and in the beginning, we genuinely liked each other. I think if I had raised a dog for a few years and it begged me like that, I would have felt sympathy. I feel a little sorry for myself too. Maybe you'll think I'm joking. My hometown is a rural area in Jining, Shandong. There, for a girl to accept a blind date, she starts by asking for a dowry of 380,000 yuan, and even her looks are average. And still, you have to line up just to meet her. I want to tell you, this is common where I'm from. These girls, who are courted by the poor, will never marry a truly excellent man. As my financial situation gradually improved, I noticed that the women around me were more willing to engage equally. During my toughest times, my current partner used her credit card and sold her house to support my business. But my ex-girlfriend, who held 30,000 yuan that I had saved, didn't give me a cent when I needed it. Now, I have millions saved from my business. With my current partner, I know many married women who, when they see other families with nice things they can't afford, go home and complain that their husbands aren't ambitious enough. And the men, they face enormous pressure at work, and when they come home, instead of comfort, they get more complaints. Why don't you spend time with me? Why are you playing games again? Why don't you give me more money? Honestly, nowadays, I haven't met many women who don't add more stress to their husbands. I really want to ask, do you deserve it? Besides my career, I never have to worry about household matters. My partner sends money to my parents every month. When I come home, there's an apple peeled and ready, or a pomegranate, and she asks me what I'd like to eat. Why do men prefer younger women? Because women around the age of 20 are much better at caring for, protecting, and understanding their partners. They don't start the conversation by asking, how much do you make? Do you have a car? Do you have a house? When men are exhausted from working, they offer space or a hug and say, you've worked hard. They aren't always thinking about what they can gain, but instead about giving and appreciating. Nowadays, it's normal for men not to chase after women. Once you enter the dating market after 25, in my opinion, things change. Love becomes a business transaction. Both men and women become commodities, and it's no longer about feelings but about price. Everyone is calculating their benefits instead of focusing on how to maintain a relationship or build a family. I'm sorry, but many men I know were happy and content before they got into a relationship, and after they did, their whole life changed for the worse. There's no throne waiting at home, so what are you chasing? To put it bluntly, if you spend that money on a foot massage, they'll scrub your feet until they're smooth.
Relationships are about mutual respect and balance, not about winning or losing. A healthy relationship is between two people who truly understand and complement each other, not about one person having the upper hand. It's about finding someone who aligns with your essence, not about luck. The focus should be on building a relationship based on unwavering support, shared investment, and a deep connection.
Done with marriage, done with relationships. And no, ladies, it's not because they're scared, like you all are telling each other is the case. No, the real reason they're leaving is because they don't see a point in relationships anymore. Because there is no point in relationships for today's men. They're expected to give while getting nothing in return. They're told that they need to honor, respect, and provide for women while never seeing it reciprocated to them in any way. They've been told time and again that they aren't needed, aren't wanted, aren't necessary, and that they should just go away and leave women alone. And ladies, we've heard you loud and clear. We've said, fine, if that's what you want, we're going to give it to you. And that, ladies, is where these good men are, off doing their own thing and enjoying life, because they are done dealing with the drama, narcissism, and insane expectations most of you have. Men are done with never being acknowledged, let alone appreciated for all that they do. So if you're wondering why all the men have walked away, there's your reasons.
I couldn't have said it better myself. On that note, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any ideas for future videos, feel free to share. Thanks again for your support.